Okay, I will be recording it. It records audio and my screen only. It does not record the webcam. Okay, don't know why, but it just doesn't. And I'm actually okay with that. When the classes are done, they will be put up on our YouTube channel for really, this is not something we're sending out to the world. But the idea is then we're trying to make the innovations for you, and we've made lots of them over the last 6 to 10 months of having things like GoToMeeting and things like the video streaming so that you can continually participate in training on a more regular basis without taking 4 hours out of your day to come to a 1-hour class because you get to drive in or get daycare or do whatever it is you got to do, or you have a client appointment and you're trying to figure out how do I go to this or not go to that. So we started with the GoToMeeting. We've now added the webcam aspect so that our, especially for our out of Bedford office people, when we do our monthly Wednesday sales meeting, that you can stream that. We are going to be adding an element to this shortly. We're just going to work through the bugs for about a month here. We're going to be adding webcams in all of the other offices so that we will be able to remote into you. So, for example, Matthew in Lunenburg becomes a capper and we want to present him as cap. We can do it all live together and all be together and participating as one big giant office. So that's the goal. We're just, as I say, trying to work through some of the technical pieces. Those of you that know me know I know a lot of stuff, but I can turn my computer on. How the heck the webcam is connected, I have no idea. Don't really care. So we're going to have a webcam set up in the Valley and in Lunenburg, and then in the other area, and in Elmsdale, and then in the other areas they'll be able to remote in on their own computers to join in. So we could technically have the big monitor here and have a series of boxes with the different offices popping up and different people so that we can share and communicate and participate together. So we're very excited that we're getting there. As I say, we just decided to start with Halifax first, try and get it worked out, and then we'll implement that in as well. Okay? So baby steps. Patience with me, please. So what I wanted to do today is just, first of all, just a reminder. So the goal with the RCD, I realized that I needed to tell you guys something about it in terms of the sessions we're doing. And it may have been in my head, which is a problem for those of you that know me very well, where there's stuff stuck in my head and it doesn't come out necessarily until I'm asked about it. The goal will be that the RCD session will be sort of like a 10 to 12 piece series, and then it will end and restart for new people. So for example, Sam is brand new with our office today, so we've done 2 RCD sessions, so let's say we have another 6, and then he would be starting ones when I relaunch it, okay? So I just have to lay out the program based on the material. So for those of you that think you have to spend every Monday with me for the rest of your internal RCD life, you are welcome to do so because there will always be new things. However, there will be an end. Tanya says yay. Now, of course, this is also subject to whether or not people are taking their courses and are finishing, right? Because, you know, the other piece of this is to get you guys through the program as efficiently as possible. So let's just talk about the courses for a second. Let's do some sort of housekeeping pieces with it. A couple of you have received notices by email, I'm not going to name names in a public setting, saying that you are required to register for your first course. You've been licensed 6 months and you haven't signed up for it. Just so you know, they copy me on those emails. So I will watch to see what's happening. I'm not going to babysit you. You're all grown-ups and business people, and I'm going to assume that when you get a notice from the NSAR that you need to do something or else you lose your membership privileges, that you're doing it. If you still haven't done it, I'll get another warning. Then you and I will have, whoever you are, we'll have a little chat about getting that booked. Now, registering for it and taking it are not the same thing, okay? You have to register for certain components within a certain time frame, and then you have, I believe, 6 months to complete it after you've paid for it. So you don't have to do it that day, okay? So one of the big things that we've talked about in the last couple of sessions is the realization that the material that's in the RCD program is much more extensive than most people realized. Everybody was looking at it And I'll be honest, I did it too when I first saw this stuff as, oh God, these are like really annoying little classes with dinky little games, and they're a waste of my time, and oh my God, why are they charging me this much money? That was the initial reaction that everybody has to RCD, and I'm hoping that after the last couple of sessions where we've started to really dig into the material that they've sent us and provided us, you're starting to get a better feel for what we can actually do with that. So we're going to do some follow-up today on what we've done in the last couple of sessions, but also move forward a bit as well. So a couple of different things. So number one, I'm going to show you, I don't have everybody as learners logged into my system. I'm not quite sure why. I'm going to check on that with NSAR. Maybe not today, because today's the first day of our audit, so I'm going to be honest, it might be a little distracted, but when you look in our learners, you can see that I can see the level of completion that people have done. So the green bar is you. This means what you have done or completed. The yellow bar means you have met with me, either by phone or in person, and we have gone through your competencies and I have signed off on them. If you do not have a yellow bar, and you've done a section, you need to arrange with me a time to get your yellow bar done, okay? It doesn't take very long. It's a series of questions, and one of the purposes of this program that we're doing together for me to be able to do that remotely with you, because I know you're attending and training with me. I know you're coming to sales meetings. I know you're coming to training that's being offered in the office, so I know you're achieving the competencies, right? The goal of this is not to micromanage. The goal of this is to provide mentorship and training. That is the purpose. Okay.
Hey, Ann.
Yes.
A couple of us already did the first one with the Val before. Like, we sat in class and went through the entire course and did it together.
Okay.
And I don't see yellow on mine. Just
okay. So some of that may have gotten wiped, unfortunately, when she lost her access. So if somebody has that issue, please let me know specifically.
Okay.
Arrange to get that looked after. Okay. I'm not going to make you go back and do it again. If the green bar is there, my checking it, like, the basics in most cases are not an issue for me. It was interesting when we had last session. So for the new people on the call, and it's a repeat for those of you, I apologize, but I'm just going to take a second just to bring our newer people up to speed. So we spent, I don't know, 10 or 15 minutes talking about HST at the last session and the implications of it, and how to manage it, and when to do it, and how to file it, and how you can do that. And that is something that is in this course that nobody had realized was in here until we started talking about it. And the implications of how to do it, and I think it was Alicia who now is going to switch her system from annually to quarterly because, oh my God, annually, so much paper. So many receipts to keep track of. But we know, so the goal is to really provide content and good tips for you in this process. So one of the other things we talked about was business planning and time blocking, and we're going to go back and review some of the things that we've done in our past sessions. The idea here fundamentally is for you to have an ability to be spending some time once a month where you're actually focused on working on your business and not just working in your business. Does everybody understand the difference between the two? I have heads nodding in front of me, but that helps me not at all in line. So, okay. So when we're talking about, I'm just going to say it anyway because silence does not mean that you actually understand. So, so just to make sure, when we're talking about working in our business, we're talking about lead generation. We're talking about, I'm going to go on an inspection. I'm going on agent tours. I'm going to write a deal. I'm going to attend an open house. That's working in our business. But working on our business is a lot of the stuff that, you don't love it. Like, oh, let's organize my receipts. Let's work on my business plan. Yay. Those are really exciting things that are working on your business. Is it affirmations? Is it goal setting? Is it customer management, database processes? Like, these are not super exciting things, but ultimately they are the fundamentals of the framework of your business. And I can tell you from having done it wrong for many years, where I spent a lot of time working in my business and not enough time consistently working on my business. I'd have great fits and starts. I was very good at that. I would be very, very focused on my goals for 2 weeks, and then I would get a deal, and then I would forget about it. Or I would get slow, so I'd start working on my taxes or my spreadsheet, and then I'd get a deal. And then it went away. And then it went in a box, or it went in a file drawer. And then, oh my God, I have to pay my HST. Oh my God, I'm up all night. I'm adding up receipts. I'm trying to make this work. Hey, we've all done this. I don't care if it's in real estate or in your own life where you're trying to get your taxes ready. But these are the things that they kill us. They kill our productivity. They kill our energy. They take away the passion and excitement of your day-to-day business, because it's like this little thing like behind your head going, you shouldn't be watching Grey's Anatomy, you should be doing something else. Because it's that thing that we're like, oh, we know we got to do it, but we'll get to it. I'm going to get to it. Like I'm going to organize my closet. I'm getting to it. Any moment it's going to happen. So the goal is, if I can give you some simple tips to help you work on your business as well as in your business, I'm hoping that you will avoid some of the massive stresses and mistakes that I have made over my career, because I taught myself a lot of it as I went. And the goal of this group environment also is that, because a lot of you haven't done this stuff yet at all, that you do have someone who is in the same place as you. They might have been licensed a year longer than you, but if they've never done a business plan or they've never done a budget, then you know what? You're all in the same place. And it gives you someone to create an accountability partner with, where it is this secure, non-judgmental, well, you're further ahead and I'm not further ahead. You're all in the same place. You're all in RCD. So it gives us this ability to pair up, or whatever you want to do to get these things done. Okay? So when we're talking about that, some of the things we talked about at the last session, the last 2 sessions, one of them was time blocking. Does anybody remember what we talked about when it came time to talk time blocking? And I gave everybody a challenge. I'm curious to see if anybody did it. I'm getting some grins that look like, oh, I should have been not watching Grey's Anatomy. Look in the room here.
Color coordinating, that's how you are.
Does anybody remember what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Did anybody do it?
Yep.
One? Okay, one honest soul. I love it. And I love the fact that you're not saying you did it if you didn't, because that doesn't help anybody. So
I did.
What it is for time blocking, and I'm going to pull the flip chart over. I hope you guys can see it online. If you can't, let me know, and I don't know what we'll do. I'll take a picture of it, I guess, after. I'm going to block the screen for a second for my front people. Okay, so one of the things with time blocking, and I want to just go back over this for a second because it's actually the perfect time of year to have this conversation. Now that the season isn't over, first of all, for everybody, there is no month of the year that you cannot sell real estate. Please make sure you understand that. You need to own that. You need to breathe that, feel that. It doesn't matter that we're in Canada. It's baloney, okay? Typically, I do 30 to 40% of my business in the fall, right up till December 15th. So if you think there's no business to be done in January, February, you're kidding yourselves. And if you don't want it, well, then some of us will take it because it's there, okay? But one of the things that happens at this time of year, and in particular with the time change, it's amazing how early realtors shut down. Like, you guys are done at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. You're done because it's dark.
I wish.
Right? You don't show houses at night. It gets really challenging. So as new agents, this is something we need to talk about, because we need to talk about time blocking. We need to talk about when do you book listing appointments, and when do you show houses, and how do you manage around the fact that it's pitch blinking black at 5:30. And unless this house you're showing is in the deep heart of suburbia with a zillion streetlights, you're not showing this house. So what do you do? What are your guys' thoughts? I have thoughts, obviously. Shocking. Okay, great, but you're go earlier, but your people work during the day, so now what? I don't know what this is. Go on the weekend. Okay, what else? Take a video during the day, Matthew England. Okay, that's an awesome idea. That is awesome. I love that. And send it to the client. That is fantastic, Matthew. So I was going to give the suggestion that you can, there's two suggestions. One is that you can work with your clients to give them the list, have them do their drive-bys, you know, during the week, whittle the list down because they will knock some off. And then on the weekend, you go out and show them. I love Matthew's idea. I think that's really proactive to say, you know what, I know you're at work all day, and I'm going to go and take a quick tour of the outside for you, and I'll send them to you, and we can narrow down the list. You're talking about a 2-minute video. You're not talking about, you know, an Academy Award event here, right?
If it's out in the middle of nowhere, ask them to do a drive-by.
Yep, drive-by.
Make sure they want it.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the idea of what Matthew's showing is what value you're bringing to the process versus making the client do all the work, depending on the location. If you have clients that work until, you know, normal time, like 5 o'clock, when they get off, it's dark too, so they can't see it any more than you can, right? But if you took time during your day and did a quick reconnaissance mission and took a couple quick videos, wow, would you be of service? I think that is an amazing idea, Matthew. Thank you for sharing that. That is fantastic. You know, quick iPhone video, send it over. Just to, you know, these are the top 5 properties we booked for the weekend. You know, I know you're, or tonight, I know you can't get out to look at them before they're dark. I wanted to do a quick show for you, and so you can see what they look like, and that way when we get there, we can just focus on the inside. How cool is that? That's pretty awesome. Awesome, Matthew. The drive-by does work as well if it's far enough ahead that your bookings are booked. But you could have clients coming in on a house hunting trip, and they have very short time, and half the times you're going to show them might be in the dark, or maybe you know, there's ways to do this. And I think there's technology now that we're forgetting about. Okay. So one of the other things is, you know, listing appointments. Because a lot of times you're going to do a listing appointment in the evening because that's when your clients get home, but you can't really see the property. You can't see whether or not they need to power wash the side of the house because there's green gook going up the side of the wall, or whether the foundation's crumbling because it's dark. And looking with your iPhone is not, flashlight is not an effective way to evaluate the condition of a home. So, you know, maybe you arrange to go out ahead of time and do a walk around the property just so that they're aware, and then you'll meet them the next night because it's dark. There's always ways. The point of this is showing service. It's showing that you're above the average bear who's going to show up and go, oh, it's dark. I can't see the outside. I'll have to come back later, so I can't get you on the market when I thought you wanted to be on the market because I'm an idiot and didn't realize it gets dark at night. So, you know, you might go plan ahead. You can, you know, those types of things. It's the same idea as having clients send you photos of off-season and that scenario. But these are the types of things when we get into this time of year where we're looking at our time blocking, and we have to change our activities a little bit from what we may have done in the spring or summer, because in the spring, summer, early fall, we can show properties till 9 o'clock at night. It's light out. So your client-focused activities do have a seasonality to it, and that's really what I wanted to talk to you about with that today as an aspect before we move on to the other issue, because it is what I'm doing, just for those of you that don't remember, is in the, I'm going to go on the computer for a second, under your e-learning courses, if you pick a course, so managing your business administration, oh, and I've left that, I'm sorry.
Oh, it's fine.
Okay. And we go into the course resources, which is the orange blob at the bottom. And move this thing. So list of competencies for managing your business administration. So this is what I don't know where it just went. Oh, it opened it down here. I'm a Mac girl, so bear with me. If I shut the computer down suddenly on all of you online, I will get you back. So what I'm doing is looking at these competencies and extrapolating into how can I teach you something within here other than just the little game you did in the class. Like, let's do something actually practical about it. So when we look at the competencies, when it talks about things like, oh, I don't want that. You know, self-manage is based on knowledge of what's involved in being a self-employed contractor. That's a pretty general statement, but that's where we had the conversation about taxes and preparation and should you incorporate or should you not incorporate, and those, that one line could lead to 2 hours of conversation. Don't worry at all, I'm not going to do that to you. But I could, you know I could. But that's where, but it's from these competencies that we're pulling. I don't know how to make this go away. Oh, look at me. So that's where we're pulling these types of conversations from. So when we're talking about time blocking in the winter, in the spring and summer, fall, you would typically do weekends. People are often away. You do a lot more weeknight work with people. You do a lot more listing appointments and buyer appointments during the week. You do a little bit less on the weekend because people go to the cottages, go camping, they go to the trailer, they go wherever they go to the beach, whatever. And in the winter, it's the opposite. You're doing a lot more work on the weekends and a lot less work at night with clients. So it's almost a complete shift of your timetable. And unfortunately, what happens is most agents get into the mentality of, okay, well, it's dark now and I can't be out with clients, and they don't replace that time that they would normally have worked with another income-producing activity, because they view it that, oh, I'm so due my time off now. I worked every night all summer. So I'm just going to chillax for the fall and winter in the dark, and it'll be good, right? But we do this. Everybody, I've done it. We've all done it. I don't care who you are. You're lying to me if you say you haven't done that, right? You're like, well, I was out 4 nights a week for 2 weeks in the spring, and so now I'm going to be in for 2 weeks, and I'm going to relax. And I'm not saying don't spend time with your family. I'm not saying don't have balance. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the fundamental concept between income-producing activities and non-income producing activities. And that is fundamental to everything that we're going to do going forward in this RCD course. So I want to take a little bit of time to talk about that again. I really want to make sure that we have drilled that home, because everything that we're talking about going forward, when we're talking about doing the business planning session, when we're talking about your goals for next year, we're talking about, you know, do you know, like, we're going to learn things like, what does it cost you down to the dollar to do a listing? And I can guarantee you most people don't know what their cost of doing business is. And it's really important to understand, can I afford to discount my commission on this? Should I? Can I afford to hire a stager? Can I not? What's my average profit per hour? Can I hire an admin? Can I not hire an admin? If you don't understand your actual hourly rate and how to get there, then it's very difficult to goal yourself. It's very difficult to create balance in your life. And all of that stems from understanding your income-producing activities versus your non-income producing activities, what can be delegated and what cannot be delegated. Okay? So I want to take a few minutes and just talk about that. Is everybody okay with that? Yep. Okay. So for those of you, I'm going to talk out loud versus just write stuff, hopefully, because I'm not sure if you guys can all see this on the webcam. We'll see when I put it up. And favorite items. Now, what this is writing. Oh, septic. Oh, yeah. Okay, that makes more sense now. I'm like, wow. The septic line now. Obviously. With a bag in it. Yeah. Great info we've been having with our sessions, I have to say. Okay, so when we're talking about time blocking, okay, so for those of you that know me, you know I also can't draw a stick man, okay? So let's just do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday for now. Let's just pretend there's only 3 days of the week for a second, because I'd have to tip the chart the other way. So let's say you've got, 9 a.m., I'm going to skip to 11, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. Again, just based on size of chart, okay? So for those of you on the screen, I'm assuming you cannot see what I just wrote. Can I take a pic of that instead? What I just did is I wrote Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday across the top of the screen, top of the flip chart, and then I put down the left-hand column 9, 11, 1, 3, 5, and 7, meaning 9 a.m., 11 a.m., 1 p.m., 3 p.m., 5 p.m., 7 p.m. I just did 2-hour blocks, honestly, because that's the only space I have on the thing. I just want to give you an idea. So the idea with your time blocking is to protect your time. That's why it's called time blocking. So initially, what happens is you have to do what's called time tracking, which is that you're just writing down when you do. When you started to do this, tell us what happened.
With the color coordinating and that,
Yeah.
it was it made things a lot clearer and made me more organized.
God, you hate it when I give you a good idea, don't you?
Don't look at me like that. Anyway, oh dear God, I hate being organized, but I know I have to. But I didn't know how to do the color the way you did, but I just have these little dots. They're different colors on my calendar.
There's no right or wrong way as long as it makes
And I've had to do it, yeah. And I just found it easier. It's just a quick look. I can see, oh, I know by the colors, I know quickly what it's in reference to, at least in general.
Did you discover that there were certain things that you were spending more time on or less time on than you thought?
Yeah, I wasn't working as long as I thought I was.
And you know what? I really appreciate your honesty with that, Kim, because that's the truth.
It sure felt longer.
Okay, so one of the big dangers in being self-employed, and especially in real estate, is, and I know that Tanya knows this word from me, it's called busy work. We're very, very good at busy work. I'm going to research Paragon. I'm going to spend 10 hours on my LinkedIn profile and see what everybody else is doing. I'm on Facebook. I'm reading an article in REM. I'm on the KW site just flitting around, okay? I'm organizing and making some lists. I'm, checking my past clients, looking, I'm very busy. I moved a lot of paper today. So here's the question in any of those activities. Did you talk to a human live, like a real, like not a Facebook chat, like an actual, did you speak to a human?
Oh God, yeah.
Right? So but what happens is people get caught in busy work where they're working all day, but they actually haven't spoken to another human. And despite what every seminar in the world is going to tell you, you cannot do real estate and never talk to another human and make money. I got someone in the back here. Okay? So
no kidding.
One of the challenges is, well, I don't know what to say to this person. Maybe you haven't talked to them for a while. Maybe you're not brand new in the business and you've been at this for a year and you're like, oh God, I never called my first client. What do I say? Right? So we'll talk about that. That's another conversation. But I want to talk about time blocking and being aware of what you're doing. So the first part of this exercise is to, for a week or 2 weeks, or even if you did it for 3 days, it would be shocking, okay, is to actually, have you ever heard of lawyers' dockets? Does everybody know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
It's called docketing. They track your time in 5-minute increments. And that's
the
what
bill
they
is
bill
more,
you.
yeah.
Okay? So they write down, TC to Janice Ching, 0.5, 0.05. And it's in order in the day. And so you can see the order of that lawyer's day based on the activities, okay, by the minute, what they're billing, worked on an hour and a half on a brief, did this, read this, prepped this, meeting this, talked to this. It's all broken down and it's done in chronological order because they do it as they do it or else they don't get paid. Okay? So it's the same concept of literally making a list of what you do during the day as you do it. So I don't care if you do it on your iPhone. I don't care if you make it on a sticky note. I don't care if it's in a book. I don't care. I'm not interested in the how. The idea is, and it's hard to do. It's really hard to remember to do. And sometimes you'll be like 2 hours in and go, oh God, I forgot to write down that I did this, this, and this. Okay, so the idea is to go down and actually track your day for, in the ideal world, 2 weeks. 2 weeks will tell you your life. It'll tell you how long you watch TV. It'll tell you what time you watch TV. It'll tell you when did you do your groceries? When did you call clients? When did you do your busy work? When did you go to training? It tells you these things. Once you have it written out, then we color code it. Well, I love to color code things, but you can do whatever you want. The idea for color coding is I always picked green as income producing, just even though our money's not green, it's, I don't know, it's a mental thing, right?
Mhm.
And, you know, pink was, you know, happy work and, you know, whatever. Like, it doesn't make any difference. Yellow, blue, doesn't matter, okay? And you can make family a color. You can make exercise and personal growth a color. You can make wasted time a color. You can make 2 colors, 5 colors, 20 colors. You can break it down. Don't make it overly complicated now. But the idea is to see what and when you do things. When I first did this exercise years ago, it was probably about 10 years ago when I was working for another company, it blew me away. Blew me away. Because I was doing a lot of my, what should have been income producing activity work too late in the night because I'm a night person. And so it was too late for me to talk to people. So I would replace that with busy work, people work, like Facebooks or notes and stuff. And all that is very important, but it's still not ultimately income producing activity. Income producing activity in this business is what? Can anybody tell me what exactly income producing activity is? Not all at once now.
I guess calling clients.
That would be one. Anybody else?
Maybe being part of a local business group and attending the functions.
Yeah, that's something. What else? Writing a deal, going on a listing appointment, showing houses, doing a building inspection, any of the things that are directly related to contracts and developing contracts and being in the middle of contracts is your number one income producing activity. Number one. Other things like networking and maybe you're attending a sales meeting at a bank and you're a guest speaker, that's pretty close to income producing because you're in their face. It's not passive. Okay, so it's also the difference between being passively involved in your business and being actively involved in your business. So when you're actively out there talking to people, you know, some people door knock, some people don't. Some people attend things, some people call people, some people call, you know, prospecting time. Those are all leading to truly income producing activities, and they're sort of like, they're almost sort of prioritized. Non-income producing activities would be things like Facebook. And I don't care if you're talking to a client on Facebook, unless you're negotiating a deal on Facebook, it's not income producing. Okay? Developmental things are very important they come right underneath income producing. Those are things like going on agent tours, training. Those are truly income producing. They just are a longer term income producing because it's knowledge based. Okay? Then we get into stuff like receipts and taxes and organizing and lists and, you know, making files and all the labels and all these things that feel very productive. They feel very productive because you can touch it. Okay? They're important to your business, but they're not income producing. They are sustaining your business. They are the support structure for your business. So when you go through and you make these notes about when you're doing things, the idea is to figure out what you do when. So for example, everybody's different. They have different lives, kids, dogs, part-time jobs, ailing parents. I'm not going to tell you when is the right time to do something because that would be very arrogant of me. And I'm a lot of things, but I try not to do that. One of the things is to make sure that what you're doing is giving you results. So if the times that you have designated are not generating results, then maybe it's as simple as the fact that the time you're trying to do things do not match other people's lives in this world. Okay, so let's give you some examples. Generally speaking, these are some overview experiences in terms of time management and timing and time blocking that I've learned doing this for a while. Number one, nobody wants to talk to you after about 8:30 p.m. Generally speaking, and I know this is going to go in the face of some of the training you may have received from BOLD or various other programs, most people, unless they've specified it, do not want to speak to you before 9 a.m. Now, you might have someone work shift work and they say, yeah, 7:30 in the morning is best for me, whatever, that's you know that about that person. But generally speaking, door knocking or cold calling at 7 a.m. Janice laughs, but it is part of some American sales training. So I will hang up on you. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to talk to you guys personally at 7:30 in the morning, and I love y'all. So you need to adapt to your own life. But you might be a super morning person. We have one of the girls that we work with here who's an amazing managing associate broker, Tammy. She is a 5 a.m. girl. She is up at 5 a.m., but she's done at 9 p.m. So between 5 a.m. and like 9 a.m., she does all her life. She deals with her personal life. She exercises. She, manages her, gets her business ready and does her other stuff so that she's ready to deal with the world when they wake up. She knows not to call me because I'm asleep, okay? But I'm up till 1 a.m. I'm not going to call her at 10 p.m. to chat because I know she's asleep. So I do her morning stuff. I do that from 10 to midnight because it's too late to call a client. It's not bothering anybody. It's when I choose to do it. So you adapt it to yourself. Maybe you have children and you have sports and whatever, and you got to do that. So maybe you do it before they get up. Maybe you do it at night. I don't know. Everybody's lives different. I'm not here to tell you how to manage your lives. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about being aware of certain times. So if you're spending all afternoon, say from 2 to 5, in your office digging through files, instead of 2 to 5, you're out meeting businesses or talking to people or whatever, business people are around. If you're looking to build relationships and you want to meet new lawyers and new bankers, okay, well, guess what? They work 9 to 5. So that's the time frame when you go meet them. Maybe you have clients that are stay-at-home parents or whatever, and that's okay time to talk to them, and you know that. And then the rest you slot 45 minutes a night, I don't know, between when you have supper and do your thing, and that's when you spend that time calling those people. So everybody has to find their own balance. I have a zillion baskets that I have to deliver. So obviously, most of my clients work. So we've blocked a Saturday and like a Tuesday night to do it because that's when they're going to be home. Or if I leave it on the doorstep, if they're not home, it's likely someone will be home soon to pick it up, right? So, those you have to, it's not about us all the time, okay? So when we're time blocking, and I'm just going to move back to the thing, the idea is to design certain pieces, this is a terrible one, is to design certain things that work in your business, okay? So maybe it's Monday to 10:30 a.m. is review of your business and your files and listings from the weekend or touching base with clients after activity on the weekend or I don't know, right? But whatever that is, and then let's say you do that also in an evening time frame for the people that you can't get during the day. This is active client talking time. Maybe this is when you book your appointments with your bankers and your lawyers and whatever for the week, or you touch base with your business people. This is when you touch base in the evening weekly with clients or sellers or that type of thing. That is protected time. It's income producing time. It's logical time. This is not between 5 and 9 p.m. This is not when I sit and put labels on files. This is not when I'm scrolling through Facebook looking for to find my clients on Facebook to friend them. You want to do those types of things in the times when it's not suitable to speak to them. And what you'll very quickly find when you start time tracking is that we do a lot of this stuff in the peak time. We spend a lot of our day doing the getting ready to get ready to go stuff. And as new agents, one of the biggest things that happens is you spend a lot of time getting ready to get ready to start. Okay? Everybody does it. And you would not be normal if you didn't. Well, I need to have the perfect listing package before I go. I need to have researched everything before I go. I can't contact those people in that neighborhood because I don't know enough about that area yet. I need to get ready to go, and guess what? You're never ready. You'll never go. So that's the other piece of having this group of us together. where you can find people in this group who are at a peer level where you can say, okay, I'm honestly stuck, and how can you, or how can more than one of you come to me and we sit and we go, okay, what's the plan? How do we make this happen? What do we do? Some of you are in teams, so you have an existing infrastructure to give you that kick. Some of you aren't, and we need to make it work together. I'm happy to meet with any of you more regularly than we do with the RCD. If you want to have breakout sessions extra on top of this to do actual proactive, okay, let's do listing, let's do this, I'll do that. I have no issues doing any of that for you guys. Okay? But when we're looking at this, what I see with new agents is a lot of getting ready. It's a lot of, well, my Facebook profile is not perfect. My web page isn't perfect. My whatever. So I'm going to tell you a little story about when I very first got into real estate. I was with a national franchise when I first started. It took 8 weeks for my business cards to come in. And not having any idea what I was doing. I had a friend who said that she had a friend who was selling her house privately, but obviously she was going to have to buy something, so maybe I should call her. So I called this FSBO to go after her as a buyer. I was going to vomit, first of all, because I had been licensed about 4 days, and I had absolutely no idea what I was doing. Like, because you all know what the licensing course teaches you. Yeah, anyway, moving on. I called this woman. Somehow I made an appointment. Somehow I got my arse into her house, and I didn't know. I didn't know what I was doing. Anyway, to this day, she does not know she was my first client. And I didn't have business cards. Like, I didn't have business cards. I was like, oh, what am I going to do here? So she asked me for one. I'm like, oh, my goodness. I said, you know what? I said, I'm so sorry. I said, they're on reorder. Great, I'm out. But here's my info. Okay? I did not have cards. Reorder might have been an additional 2 letters added to that word, but I know it was a little tiny white lie, and I'm not suggesting you like your clients, but anyway, I went, she became a buyer, I sold her a house, and the rest is history. So sometimes, but if I had waited to be ready, to have my perfect cards, to be ready to go, like I never would have had that opportunity. I didn't have like a I had nothing. Hi, I'm here. I got a notepad, like a calculator, I think. I don't know. I did nothing. So sometimes we just have to jump. Okay? But part of what happens is we get caught feeling like we need to be busy because there's a lot of people buzzing around us and they're busy. But what are they busy doing? And what are you busy doing? And I would bet dollars to donuts you don't really know what you're busy doing. And unless we identify what you're actually doing in your day, I can't help you to say, okay, Janice, tell me why you did X for 2 hours. Well, blah, 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 blah. And I'll say, okay, so have you suggested maybe taking that time and maybe we try this, which is an extent in the next level of the activity you may already have been doing, right? So I'll give you an example. Oh, I'm on LinkedIn. So, and I'm looking and I'm finding the people I know and whatever. So here's a really quick business development tip for you. I'll throw this in here. So I'm on, let's say Janice is my favorite mortgage person, okay? And she's in my eye line, so she gets picked on today. So I get her on LinkedIn, and I send her the whatever thing it is that I want to friend her or whatever the word is in LinkedIn, and then I stop. And I wait, and now I've done something. I've made a connection on LinkedIn. Woohoo! Look at me, I was productive today. See what I did? I did something important. No. So what I need to do is to look and see who's connected to Janice. Now this is not where I just spend my next 3 hours sending whatever connection requests or whatever it's called on LinkedIn, I can't remember, to all her people. No, that's not productive. This is where I have to pick up the phone and call the insurance person attached to my favorite mortgage person. And I say, hi, Mary. My name's Anna Silva with Keller Williams, and I do a lot of business with Janice Ching. She is amazing. And then she goes, yeah, she's amazing. And I go, I see that you're connected to her on LinkedIn. If she wants to work with you, then I need to know who you are. How would you like to meet for coffee? Would you not trust the people of the people that you work with?
Yeah.
If you called that person and said, hi, I do business with this person, and if they do business with you, you must be great, I'd like to meet you, do you think they're going to say no? What did this cost? How long did this take?
Nothing.
Could this be done during the middle of the day? Could this be a time block that I set aside for myself? This is what I'm talking about. Finding them on Facebook and sending them the friend request is not helpful. Okay? But if you're not time blocking and you don't know what you're doing, then I can't help you figure out when to do other things. When I first started, I was doing a lot of busy work in the day, and I was doing a lot of feeling guilty in the evening because I hadn't actually talked to anybody. Anybody feeling guilty?
Some days.
In real estate. Oh, I should have sent a card. So when I was at NAR, for those of you that know I was at NAR, I went to a social media class, and you know, it's one of those things where every time you go, you get something different out of it. It's not like I don't know what social media is, but I went to a class, and this guy had this amazing idea. He was like this while he was talking, so I was all excited. And it was very cool because I went, oh my God, it's right there. And I want all of you to have it. I want every one of you to take this and do it. So let's say Sam, I have no idea about Sam's personal life, so I'm about to throw him under the bus here. So, so Sam announces on Facebook that he and his spouse have just had a baby, okay? And so on Facebook, you're thinking you're being the awesome realtor, and you like it, and you write a little post, congratulations, Sam, woohoo! Now they're going to remember me. They're going to remember that I did that. I'm going to get their listing when they buy the next house. Because I said yes on Facebook. So what this guy does, who's got like a gazillion listings and whatever, it doesn't matter. He sees that on Facebook. He likes it. Then what he does in a time-blocked period of day, and I think he does it at night, if I remember, because the whole day's news stream has come, so he takes 45 minutes, goes through, sees his people, sees that Sam just had the baby, then guess what he does?
Sends a card or calls.
He doesn't call them because nobody doesn't want to talk to him. I know, he just had a baby. He just really doesn't want to talk to his realtor. But I'm going to send a handwritten card and say,
Yep.
you are going to be amazing parents. I just wanted to take a second to write you a personal note and say how thrilled I am for you and send that off in the mail. My brain exploded. Because everybody is always saying, I don't know what to say to my people. I haven't talked to them in a long time. I don't know what's going on in their lives. Okay, you do know what's going on in their lives. They're verbal diarrhea about what's going on in their lives all over social media. But what if you took that information and took it a step further and made it personal? Don't put your business card in. That's cheesy. Don't do that, right? Your return address is on the thing. They know who you are. Just think this would be awesome. Congratulations, you know, blah, blah, blah. You know, sincerely, Anne. I just went, oh my God, there's my content. There's my content for once a week to send notes. It's right there. They're giving it to me. Might cost me $5 a week in stamp. Whoopie-doo. But that's a time blocking activity. That's not a middle of the day activity when I can talk to them. That's it's too early in the morning. It's too late at night. It's Sunday morning, and regardless of whatever your faith is, we still don't call people Sunday morning before noon. We just don't, right? So you might be sitting on your couch having coffee in your flannel pajamas with Netflix on, writing cards. Who cares? You can block that time. If you don't know what you're doing now, then we can't tweak it to make it more effective. And there's some really simple things that we can do that are income producing, that generate appointments, because appointments are income. So if I was blocking time to call my partners on my partner's LinkedIn, for example, and so that's a business day call, I'm now producing my appointments for the rest of the next 2 weeks. So I would block out on my thing saying I've got this time available and this time available. Which one works for you? It's like offering children cookies in the cookie aisle, or cereal. Oh God, cereal, like cereal. Okay, you only offer 2 times because that's my appointment time. So I need to fill this block every week. When you have it as a block, there's a hole. So let's say it's a hole on Wednesday, and I called someone on Monday who's a business person. You know what? They may not fit into this week's block, but they'll probably fit into the next week's block. So now I have an income producing meeting, business development meeting once or twice or 3 times a week, whatever you choose. Maybe you have a block set where you go and you say, I need a guy. It's my expression. Tanya's heard it a zillion times. I need a guy in every geographic area of the city. If I have a client in Sackville, I better have a banker in Sackville if they don't want to move. I better have a lawyer in wherever. Inspectors are different because they move around, but like I need a guy. I need a guy. I need a floor guy. I need a this guy. I need a plumber. I need a guy. Do you have a guy in every trade that your clients could need? If you don't, then you better have a block, and maybe it's called Find a Guy. I don't care what you call it. If ladies that are married, you might want to rephrase that on your calendar. Find a Guy Day.
I don't think so.
But you know,
Find a gal.
partner development, I don't care what you call it, right? You have, if your client said to you, like, I'll give you an honest story too. I don't remember how long ago because I have absolutely no sense of time. I had a client who asked me if I knew a PI. We're not going to discuss why. I did. I knew one.
You talk about me and my situations. Come on.
I hadn't looked for one, but I just had one, right? But, you know, you'll get a client. And the thing I always say to people is, I may not know someone, but I know someone who will know someone. I'm a connector. But if you want to be building business and talking to people and growing your comfort level with what your trade is and what you do, if you've got business development blocks and time into your calendar, then at the end of your day when you go home and you're now sitting on the couch watching Netflix, because let's be honest, we all watch Netflix, you're not going to feel like, what did I do today? Because you're going to have a series of blocks in your calendar that are income producing. Agent tours, went to training, followed up with partners, met new people, looked for sent cards, you know, like those are productive business activities. But if we don't know what you're doing, then I can't help you manage it. So I know it seems like this thing that's my second time I've talked to you guys about this, and I know it seems like I'm harping on this, but I cannot explain how fundamentally important it is. It is the difference between a $100,000 GCI realtor and a $15,000 GCI realtor. It is that simple. But it's hard. It's really, really hard to stick with it. And that's why I would love to see you guys pair up to be accountable to somebody else. Maybe you take 10 minutes and Sunday night you call each other and go, okay, here's my time block for next week. What's your time block for next week? And then the next week you say, so how'd it go? Well, I did good on this. I didn't do great on this. But if you don't talk about it, you don't pay attention. It is the difference between getting stuff done and then not really understanding, getting other stuff done, but not getting any results and not understanding why you're not getting any results. And most of it is because most of you don't honestly know what you're doing in a given day. And a lot of the stuff you're doing, it feels like it's income producing and it feels productive, but it's not. And it's not a judgment, it's normal because nobody teaches you how to do this when you start in real estate. When you start a job, like a job, they say, I want you to do A, B, C, D, E, F, but by the time you go home from work today. Nobody tells you that in real estate. Nobody. This is a big piece of this, okay? So to follow up on that, the other piece of this was, did anybody do the budget worksheet that was there in the RCD?
Nope.
Okay, I'm getting a bunch of no's. Okay, that's fine. So I am going to, so again, for those of you that know me really well, there's an expression that I use that's the polite way of saying, please do it, or you're going to do it. And it might be when I say, can I highly recommend? I honestly believe that I believe we should have to rent a hall. It's not going to happen, but I believe we should have to. I believe that every single realtor at Keller Williams should be attending the business planning session on the 27th. I do not believe there is a single realtor, myself included, whose business plan is perfect, who will not benefit from the questions and answers that will happen in that group session. Now, there is a great deal of debate on this course and whether or not we can offer it by GoTo. My honest opinion is this is a course due to the volume of material. It is a binder of material that we will be going through, including the MREA. I am very suspect that it will be effective remotely. I really believe that it's a hands-on course. So I think the plan is that we're going to offer it on the 27th. I would love to have the room full. I'd love to be spread out into the back. We're doing it from 10 to 4. Lunch will be provided. We're allowing for the full day because we actually want to fill them out. We don't want to send you home with it purely as homework because it doesn't work. So the idea is that it's actually like a productive workshop day. 27th, yeah, this month, okay? So the goal is that everybody has the functioning understanding. You still are going to have to tweak it after you go home, of course, but that you have it. So one of the pieces to that is also if you do not know your numbers, to contact Linda before Friday, and she will prepare the reports for you that you need to know your average numbers. There's reports that she can generate. She can show you where to find them in order to be able to start. Because if you don't know your numbers, it's very difficult. If you're brand new, then we will use typical average scenarios, and then you will be monitoring them and tweaking them. Okay. So what I'd like to be able to have you do is to leave at the end of that day with as close to a functioning starting point of a business plan. There's budgeting in it. There's prospecting calculations in it. There's how many calls you're going to have to make, how many people you're going to have to meet. Like, it's more than just the money. It's the how to get the money is what we're going to teach you in that class. How many people do you need to talk to? How many appointments need to go to? How do we work on conversion rates? What are your expenses? What are you spending? How do we make more money? How much money do you need to live? Do you actually know that? How much do you set aside for taxes? It's a big day, okay? I don't know that that's going to work truly effectively remotely, okay? So I think the plan is that it's going to be live in person, and then we will launch it again in January. But it is a huge day, a huge commitment day for Linda and I to spend to do it. So it probably would be offered in November and probably January, and then we probably won't offer it again for quite a while because there's so much else in the, and by January, really everybody should be functioning with a business plan for 2016. So I don't know that teaching it in April is the right time to do that, right? So we would encourage everybody, we believe it's worth driving up, and that's why we did it, that it's a day, so that it's one day and you can come up and be done, okay? So that's the type of thing where we're going to be talking about this type of thing only very specifically to your goals, working on conversion rates, trying to figure out those elements, okay? So the other thing, talking about education quickly, because I just want to watch our time, I want to be true to you guys and not go way over, is talking about your RCD courses and also your elective and mandatory courses with NSAR. So no, your RCD courses do not count as an elective course, Janice Ching. I know, and I laughed, and she was not expecting me to laugh at her, and it wasn't. I was laughing with you. No, I wasn't.
Call me, I'll laugh at you, Janice.
No, your RCD courses do not count as your elective. So everybody has to take a one-day mandatory and an elective. Okay? There are 3 electives that are available online, and there are 3 electives that are available in class. Okay? So you can do whichever one you want. Now, personally, I recommend that you get your courses done before February. if not to say we have a slower time, but it is definitely the slower time versus spring. And it is much easier to get the dates you want. My courses are already booked. My team's courses are already booked. I know several people have already booked. If there's specific teachers you want, I might have opinions about the teachers too, if anybody wants them, but I'm not putting them on this recording. As to who I
No
would.
kidding.
Kim.
That was me, Anne.
Sorry, Shelly. I know you know what I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, yes, so I do recommend that you get them registered because there is a danger because the courses fill up. And you could go to register for a course in April, for June, and if it's full, you'll pay double.
Mm.
If they have to run a course for you in July, you pay triple. So register early, get your pick of dates. I always go with a gaggle, and then we go at lunch, and we sit together, and it's way more fun, okay? So, you know, that's just my suggestion. But get in and get early and get them registered. They are online, or for anybody that wants it, I have the old school book in my office. Okay? Okay. Yes, sites down till the end of the day. Yeah, there was an announcement that came out about that. Okay. So the business planning class is going to be on Friday. The electives and mandatories. So the time blocking and all of that type of stuff is something very huge. And what I'd like us to get from that is to have a session about ideas, because one of the next pieces in the next session is on developing your clientele. So that's where we can get into very specific productive ideas, such as things that I may have given you today, such as how to do the LinkedIn, how to find a guy, you know, those types of things, so that you can actually work on developing new business sources with this new magical time that you have set aside. Okay? So if we review quickly the managing your business administration competencies. So I'm going to read through these quickly, and we're going to talk about things. We're going to say, yeah, done, or okay, no, we need to do this. So let's look at this together. So self-manage is based on knowledge of what's involved in being a self-employed contractor. That's the very first thing that they list as a competency under managing your business. My personal opinion is that that particular line needs to be on every single class we do every single time, because I think every session is going to somehow tie back to making you a more efficient self-managed business person. And I don't think that goes away after one session. That's just my 2 cents on that. I feel like that's an overriding theme for the whole program. Creates a system for tracking and saving HST collected to enable timely remittance and filing of HST returns. So we talked about that last week. Does anybody have any follow-up questions on HST? Not all at once. Okay, we're moving on. Acquires, uses, and maintains current technology resources to support the business. So this is a big one, and that's why we have a tech session every single month on the calendar that we always encourage you to attend. Last month we did iPad training. We're going to do that again. It was really interesting because we had about, I'm going to say, only 5 people in the room, but they want like 6 more sessions because it was very productive. We got into, you know, some very specific ways to use some very common apps that will streamline your business and make you way more money, way faster, and make you much more efficient for your clients. So, you know, there's all kinds of tech training that we offer, from .loop to whatever, and so that's an ongoing thing. We're going to be doing a session in December that you're going to get the syllabus hopefully tomorrow, depending on my day today, for December's classes. Our program is set for December and January already educationally. But one of the courses we're having in December is an intro hands-on workshop with Erin on really getting into the meat of the KW systems that most people don't know how to use properly. So we're going to do a KW basics is what we're calling it. But it's really like, and Linda's going to join in. Like, I learned something the other day when we were prepping for the business planning course. There's this whole thing in there that I didn't know was there about how to find out my average commission and sale and price and how long it takes me to. It's all in there. It does all the math for me. I don't have to do any of this. I don't need a chart. It's there. So I didn't know it was there. Now I know it's there. So we're going to show you that it's there. Okay? Using current communication devices effectively. I'm assuming that they're not being so moronic as to tell us how to use a phone. But considering most of us are afraid of our phone at this point because we'd rather text somebody, maybe we should be discussing this. But the idea is really about communication. Does your email work? Are you set? This is introductory. So are you set up in your office? Do you have this? Do you have your backups? You know, how do you do this type of thing? Okay. There's a program that I can also show you if somebody reminds me next time, because I won't remember unless somebody tells me. For anybody that's an iPhone, I don't know if it's available for non-iPhones. I'm not going to lie because I really pay no attention to anything that's not an iPhone. There's a program, I think I paid $24 for it, and it will convert any and all of my text messages into a PDF file that I can keep for my file. Okay, and then you can get them off your phone. But then you have them as a permanent record without screenshotting. So remind me about that one. Using goal setting or acquires, uses, and maintains physical assets to support the business. This is, again, introductory. This is, you know, do you have your open house signs? Do you have your signs? Do you have, like, measuring tapes? Do you have, like, what do you have? What do you need? And that might be something that would be worth talking about together as a group, just to have a little chat about, you know, what do different people have, I'm going to call it, in their kit. When I first started, yes, back when I had carbon paper, yes, because I did actually do carbon for the real estate. Shelley, you might have too. Just picking on you. We were told, and actually I think we were at the same office, we were told to get like a Rubbermaid bin, and we had to have like a mallet and a hammer and a screwdriver and a measuring tape. We had to have all this stuff in the trunk, right? You know, in case you had to fix a sign or hang a thing. We had zip ties and we had all this stuff. And you know what? It's not a bad idea, right? You know, you're at an open house, it's vacant, the freaking cupboard door's hanging off, the house is empty. Wouldn't it be great if you had a screwdriver to fix that freaking thing, right? Little things, okay? So that might be worth talking about, is creating sort of a basic, I mean, it takes 5 minutes, but a little toolkit to make sure you're always the ready realtor. Using goal-setting techniques for business planning, demonstrating knowledge of principles and techniques of goal setting. Okay, that is a huge topic, and that is basically the business planning day. That is a huge concept. We've talked a little bit about it over the last couple of weeks, but really that's its own thing. Prioritizes work activities effectively, just demonstrating the understanding and importance of time management. So that's what I've been talking about here with time blocking and coding what you're doing and paying attention to when and what you're doing it, because I really do believe that it is the difference between being effective, okay? Oh, I'll pull it up for those of you on the computer. Sorry, thank you, Janice. Oh, no, that's not what I wanted. E-learning. Oh, I had it open. Look at me. I don't know how to make it bigger, though. I hope you can all see it. Okay, so prioritizes work activities effectively, demonstrating the importance of time management. That was number 9. Oops. Understands the importance of working on your business as well as working in your business, and demonstrates understanding by allocating time to work on your business. So that's this, again, we keep coming back to this and how important this is. But again, it might be something where maybe you you block 20 minutes or half an hour a week where you sit and review your numbers, and when we do the goal setting, it'll talk about how many calls you have to make and how many appointments you have to make and how many people you have to make. But what typically happens is we say, oh, I'm going to talk to 5 people this week, and we talk to 1, and the next week we're still supposed to talk to 5. But what nobody does is take the 4 we missed from this week and dumps them onto next week. So you don't get to not do the other ones. Your goal is still the same. But if we're not managing it and not paying attention to it, then we're not reviewing it. That's working on your business. So that's that concept of saying, okay, I'm ahead, right? So does that mean that I take it easy now, or do I do something else, or what do I do with that time? Okay. Uses prioritizing and time management tools to effectively manage time. Do you see a theme here in this session? So let me ask you guys, for any of you that have done the first session of the RCD, did you get what we've done from that? I'm going to go with no. So that's what I'm hoping you will gain by participating in this program with me, is the higher level of what they're trying to teach you. Okay? I want to give you guys everything that I have. I hope it's worth having, but it is what it is. I'm going to give it to you, okay? And I want you to get the max out of what they're scraping the surface is what they're doing in the RCD. And when you see this stuff in RCD about mentoring conversations and all that stuff, that's what this is. That's exactly what we're doing right now. These are the mentoring conversations that are supposed to take this introductory level to the higher level. We're just doing it in a group. Okay? Schedules activities based on knowledge of activities significant to a successful real estate career and time management principles and techniques. So that goes back to what we've done again today. That's 50% of the competencies that they're talking about here, is all about knowing and understanding what and what you're supposed to be doing. The most common thing that I've heard over the years of hiring agents and working with new agents is I don't know what to do with my day. I don't know what to do. I'm a realtor. Congratulations. Yippee yahoo. I don't know what the hell I'm supposed to do. Right? Because you don't have a job description. So we're going to spend more time on this because I ultimately believe that this is not a one-session skill. I've been working on this for 12 years. I learn it more every time I make a mistake. I learn it every time I go to a conference, every time I go to a session. I get something new to make it more effective. Technology has changed it. It used to be that I had to manage my time differently because we'd have to run around at 11 o'clock at night to get a friggin' counteroffer signed. Well, now I send it by .loop and I don't get off my couch. Okay? But I couldn't do that before. So it's constantly changing is my point. You weren't going through Facebook and LinkedIn 12 years ago. They didn't exist. So we're evolving it. This is not a stagnant thing, but the principles of it don't change. So if you understand it, then that fundamental question of, okay, I'm a realtor, congratulations, now what the do I do, hopefully will get you those answers in this program. Okay. Manages time based on a balanced business and personal needs and responsibilities. That's where the time blocking and understanding what you need to do, and that's what I said at the very beginning about, I'm not going to tell you what time to do something. I'm not going to tell you that if you only call clients from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. or 7 a.m. to 11 a.m., you don't call them that time, you're not going to be successful. That is baloney. That's not the real world. It has to work for you or you're not going to do it. If you don't own it, it's like I was a smoker. I was a smoker for 18 years, and I listened to people for 18 years tell me that I need to quit smoking. Well, they could all go jump in the lake because I didn't want to do it. Now I quit now, yeah. But until I was ready to do it, it didn't matter what anybody else said. So I'm not going to tell you that 10 a.m. is the time. If you don't call it 10 a.m., get out of the business. Okay, that's ridiculous. But you need to be aware of what you're doing and when you're doing it, and you need to make sure you get all the elements in every week, whenever that is that they work. I used to coach curling. I'm in a little bit of withdrawal now because I coached my daughter for 8 years. She's in university now. Another province, I don't coach curling now all this time. I had 16 hours a week I coached curling. So that was a big piece of how I manage my time because, you can't be on the ice doing a deal, right? So everybody has their thing. Family time, parents, whatever, sports, yoga, I don't know, whatever. Drinking wine, important things, right? So, but the goal is that if you see when we look at these competencies, this is like really almost the full 2 pages is about really understanding how to do this. So what I'd like to do, I'm going to reissue the challenge to you guys. I would like you to, this is not to judge you. This is a personal exercise where you track what you do. You can use an app on your phone, you can use a voice memo, you can carry a little book around. I don't care. I just want you to write down what you do. Do it for a week. If you can't do it for 2 weeks, do it for 1 week. Start today. I got up at 7 a.m. What did you do? Yeah. Like, what are you going to do? And track it, right? And make detailed notes. Like some people need to write stuff really detailed, some people don't. But the idea is to be conscious of what it is you're doing so we can look and say, I might say, Janice, did you realize you had no business development in your week? And you might go, yeah, but I was doing this and this. And I'll say, yeah, but that's passive. And you'll go, oh my God, I thought I was doing something. Right? So if you do those and you email them in to me, then we can look at them. We can do a quick phone call and go through them, and we can have a conversation about it. I'm happy to do it. I also invite all of you, if possible, to humanly attend the business planning session on Friday. If you are not within a 10-minute drive of the Bedford store office, I'm 45 minutes away. For all of you that think that I'm not humping me arse in here, I live 45 minutes away. Come in, please come in and spend the day. I think you're going to get a lot out of it. I think it's going to be worth your time, and I think the timing in the year that we're doing it is so important because it's going to help you launch your January. Okay? So if you can't attend and you want to attend, please send me an email so that I know whether or not I have enough people that are worth, that sounded wrong, so that it's worth it for me to plan a second session. If I have one person, then we may try and do it that we record it. I don't know. But it's, as I say, it's a commitment of both Linda and I for the day. So we do appreciate you taking the time to come in. And it is something that's so important in getting your business going for next year. Okay. But please remember that it's more than just doing your budget. It's going to be activity levels, how many deals do you need, what's your average sale, and we can adapt it to your individual markets. Like if you typically sell condos or you're in the valley and your average sale price is lower, or you're, I don't know, like your listing time is different there than here, we can adapt all of that to match to work directly for you. Okay? Does anybody have any questions for me after today's session? Okay. I thank everybody for taking the time. I really, really appreciate it. Not that you really honestly have a whole lot of choice because it's mandatory, but I still appreciate your time. And I do hope that you do get things from this. If you have follow-up questions or other suggestions as you go through the competencies, I'm going to email them all out to you today. I forgot to do that last time, so I apologize. I'm going to send those all out to you, and I'm also going to send you the list that the NSAR has provided on income producing activities and non-income producing activities. It is in the system, but I'll send it out to you so you have it in PDF just so that it's right there in front of you. And again, anybody, I challenge all of you to do the time blocking for at least 7 days. I would recommend doing it for a little bit longer, but 7 gives you a pretty good idea. But typically within 1 week, you might have like, I don't know, like one family thing that kind of throws the whole thing off. A 2-week tends to give you a broader sense. And be honest, like be very, very honest. This is confidential. If you took the day off and did laundry or laid on the couch, then you need to tell me you took the day off and laid on the couch. Because you know what, I can't help you, right? And this is not about making everybody into a super agent. This is not about saying everybody needs to work 70 hours a week. That's not the point of this. It's actually the opposite. It's to give you the most effective tools to use in your day so you can have the most time off possible while achieving the highest results possible in that time frame. That would be how I would explain it. If your activities are hyper-focused and very productive, then when you're off, you're off. You don't feel guilty, and you're going to get the results because the activities you did were actually revenue-generating activities versus busy work. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay. Thank you guys so, so much. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you, Ann.
My pleasure.